Hi everybody, and welcome to my very first sewing tutorial. For this first tutorial, I thought I would teach you a hack on how to do mitered corners because it's a very easy technique once you get the gist of it, and it gives your sewing a professional finish and a professional look. You might wonder where you use mitered corners, and one of the most common places that they are used are in garments, like a men's suit coat. The sleeve placket here. If you look inside, this is a mitered corner. And so if you're ever needing to lengthen or shorten the sleeves, knowing how to do a mitered corner is really helpful. Also, in the back of the coat is the vent, and inside the vent, again, is a mitered corner. And so if you're ever doing alterations on that, the mitered corner is helpful to know. The other reason that I'm teaching you how to do the mitered corner is because I promised my Facebook followers that I would teach them how I do my baby blankets step by step. And my baby blankets are basically two rectangles sewn together with a little bit of thin batting in the middle. And so I miter my corners there as well, so that when I lay them together, there's no bulk or seam showing here at the corner. Just gives everything a very professional finish. And so what I'm going to show you on here is how to do it just on some quilter's cotton. Easy to practice on, and also is used a lot in home decorating and other things where you might want to use a mitered corner. So let's get started with the tutorial. All right, here we have our square fabric, and we're going to miter this corner here. And so to do that, I like to use my drafting ruler. If you join my Facebook group, there's a link in there for the 20 usual and unusual tools that I keep in my sewing room. This is one of the more unusual tools, but I like it because it's 2 inches wide and works perfect for what we're doing right now. So I'm working on the back side of the fabric here. I'm going to lay my ruler down and fold the fabric over it, and that tells me I have exactly 2 inches of fabric here folded over. So I'm going to press that edge first using just a little bit of steam. And now I'm going to do the same thing along this edge here, pressing it over, making sure that everything is even here at the edge. It's 2 inches the whole way. So I'll pull my ruler out and press that seam with a little bit of steam as well. So now I have my 2 folded edges. Right here at the very tip of the corner, I'm going to take my scissors, and you could use little nippers as well, and cut maybe 1/8 of an inch, 3/16 of an inch snip in the fabric. Don't worry, that is not going to show once we have our corners mitered. So you put your little snip in that corner. Then, as you open it up, put your fingers here on this snip and on this snip, and lay the fabric right side up. Okay, I'll do that again because it's a little bit tricky, but you'll figure it out quickly. Take a hold of this snip here and this snip here, holding on to them, lay your fabric right side up. Then, with the right sides together, you're going to match those 2 notches together like that. Okay, so I have both of those little snips now in that finger. So you can see I've pressed it here. Here are all of my creases, and this right here is the point of my corner. And in my hand here, I still have my 2 snips matched together. Don't worry too much about how flat all of this is lying at this point. You'll be able to get it in just a second. Grab my pin, sorry. We're going to pin it right here by the notches, so my 2 clips are pinned together. Now, if you want to, and if it feels a little more secure to you, you can put another pin down here closer to the corner. And that'll help hold things in place, but you don't have to if you feel like your fabric is cooperating for you. The next step you're going to do is to put your ruler with the edge here at the notch and the other edge exactly at the corner, and draw a line from your notches to your corner. Now again, if you get my list of usual and unusual tools, you'll see why I have a little piece of Irish spring here to use. It's really difficult, I know, to see on the camera, but I have made a line from my clips right here to my point here, and that's the line that I'm going to sew along. Okay? I want to show you, before we go over to the sewing machine, one other piece here. And if you look at this piece, you have a narrow hem here and a wider piece here. If you were working on a men's jacket or a woman's skirt, your hem is probably only going to be 1 inch to 1.5 inches. But that vent edge over here is probably going to be a little bit wider than your hem. That's fine. It works exactly the same way. You're going to cut your little snip in the corner. Take a hold of your snips with your fingers and fold your fabric flat. Now, that looks uneven, but don't worry, it's going to work the same way. We're going to fold it and put our 2 clips together here. And over here on this edge, we have the exact corner of our, what on this would be the corner of the sleeve or the hem of the jacket. None of this is matching up here. Don't worry about that. You're going to pin your 2 snips together here. And again, if you'd like, and especially in a men's suit coat, which is a little bit thicker and the fabric doesn't always cooperate as well, put another pin there. Take your trusty ruler and your Irish spring and draw that line from exactly where your snips are to the point at the corner of your hem. And if you can see, that line goes from here at the snips to the corner, and that's the sewing line that we're going to use. So let's move over to our sewing machine.